Welcome back. Season 7 retired players screen out of the way. First thing, right away. The Sedin twins retire at the exact same time, but on different teams. I almost said exact same team, but they retire at the exact same time, but on different teams. Over 1,400 games played for Henrik Sedin, who finishes his career as a Buffalo Sabre. 314 goals, 1,224 points, and a few games shy of 1,400 on his career. Daniel Sedin, the other Sedin twin, with 455 goals. Very solid career. How many of those were assisted by brother Henrik in his career? 1,208 points on the career. Very respectable numbers from two legendary players, well loved by the Vancouver fan base. Nick Schultz with the Red Wings, he retires, 1,291 games played, and Stanley Cup champion with your Montreal Canadiens. Danny Heatley calls it a career, hangs up the skates with 1,000 points even. He got that 1,000th point as a Hab with 1,276 games played, 471 career goals. We know all about 2007, don't we? Which is where he earned the nickname Martin Erat with 1,191 games played, 746 points. And down the list, we're just going to go now. Lots of names that we are very familiar with are now starting to go off the board. So the familiar players are retiring, and the more seasons that we play, remember we're going into season 7 now. There will be more familiar names going off the board now. I didn't even know that Raffi Torres, man, he was in Toronto. Did we know that? Because didn't we play Toronto in the playoffs? But I don't remember bumping into. Maybe I did. I don't know anymore. But there will be less and less names from here on in. I'm just going to scroll down the list. If you see anybody that you like or should take note of, Dominic Moore retires. He was huge for me in the Washington series. Babchuk retires. Well, he didn't play in Game 7. I stapled him to the press box, to a seat in the press box, and that's how his career comes to a close. Remember, he was a big liability on D in the Carolina series. I don't know which game it was, but I took him out of the lineup. I went with Brian Dumoulin at one point in the playoff run, and I never looked back after that point. But anyway, Babchuk, you got a Stanley Cup ring. So anyway, as I keep trying to say it, but the more we go on here, the fewer names that we will recognize, and it will become mostly created players. Now, Paul Bissonnette, Biz Nasty, retires with 169. Nice. Games played, 5 goals, 9 assists, 14 points. Is that more than he got in his real NHL career? Did Biz Nasty in the game outscore his real life counterpart? That's something I'm going to have to fact check. But now, it's just less and less players that I can even tell you who they are. The goaltenders, Henrik Lundqvist hangs them up, which is very close to when he actually ended up retiring, which I would say that Lundqvist in the real world was forced, obviously, into a very early retirement with a heart condition. And one of my favorite goaltenders, again, of the modern era, right there with Carey Price. I miss seeing those two guys play when they were in their prime. Two of the greatest goaltenders in the league. Brizgalov with the Flames. Breeze retires. It's just a game. Why you have to be mad, right? Craig Anderson, he also retires. A legend as well. Craig Anderson, likable guy. It's hard not to root for Craig Anderson, and I believe everything that his wife went through all those years ago when he carried the Senators on that playoff run. And that takes us into the draft. And just so we recap it, we're going into the draft. Stanley Cup champions, third time in the GM mode, but I have yet to win back-to-back Stanley Cups. It hasn't happened. 3 cups in 6 years. I am mirroring the Chicago Blackhawks of a dynasty past. We have forged a dynasty of our own here in Montreal. We want to keep it going, and we can do that with a good draft in front of us. Well, we don't have a round 1 pick Speaking of round 1 picks, the Detroit Red Wings can pick 4 times in the first round. We see multiple picks for the Sharks, for the Islanders. The Flames have a few picks here in the first round as well. Can we find a trading partner? I'd like to get that St. Louis first round pick. So I could send them the second to move up. And then we send them like, there's somebody that, who can I move out? Who would be an easy player to move out? Brendan Gallagher? I could see moving out Brendan Gallagher. Okay, I've got a trade proposal to get a first round draft pick. It would be a 22nd overall pick in the first round. I'm going to offer the Blues my third line forward, Brendan Gallagher. So Gallagher is making $2.115 against the cap. He is 27 years old. He's got 2 years left on this deal. I'll just pull it up right there so you can see it in the upper right corner of the screen, and you can see his attributes, what he's done for me in the seasons past. 20 points, 26 points, 30 points. I mean, he's not really a big, point contributor, goal contributor, and his playoff stats, he scored 4 in the most recent playoffs, 3 the year before that. I mean, he doesn't score a lot, and he's a smaller size player. He's been around for a long time. I don't know how many total seasons he's played in the league. I don't know if it has it. There's his total career games and everything. His NHL career totals. He was a 2010 pick, of course, by the Habs. 5th round pick, by the way, so he's panned out very nicely. I just think, he's got some value to him. He's getting a little older, and he's not really going to get any better than he is right now. I think that with Brendan Gallagher, he is what he is. We can trade him, and we could free up a roster spot to add some depth there on the third line, and we could even pay that depth that we get in free agency or whatever, even less money than the $2.115. I mean, honestly, $2.1 million for a third liner, not terrible, but we could also save a little money there by being a little cheaper for that depth forward. I just want to get this draft pick, and I don't think the Blues are going to accept this. Where's the trade value? How do I show it? I don't think the value is quite there for St. Louis, to be honest, but I'm going to try it. Oh, and by the way, we've got that Voivoda kid who's going to be coming up from the AHL next season. So there's your roster fill-in right there for Brendan Gallagher should this trade go through. And, of course, the Blues did not like that, but I don't care. I'm going to try one more time. All right, let's try this proposal. This year's second to basically move up in the draft to get the 22nd overall pick. Gallagher, Ellis, and a 4th round pick this year as well, the 120th overall. Ellis, because they want Ellis and he has some trade value. It's a very small amount of trade value. And the 4th has a little trade value. I'm just trying to stack a little bit of value in here to try to make this worth St. Louis's time. But of course, if they reject the trade proposal this time around, I'm just going to try a different trade partner. And the Blues do not like that Morgan Ellis's contract expires immediately. Okay, I'm getting screwed over here. All right, I'm going to Detroit for this one. I'm going to try to get the 26th overall. They don't want to trade it away, but they do want Gallagher. So they like the idea of Brendan Gallagher. I'm going to throw them the 2nd to move up to get the 1st round pick. And I'm going to throw in the 5th. I mean, the 5th really is a very low value pick there, especially at this point in the GM mode where the how can I put it? The draft prospects are all created by the game, if that makes sense. So I'm going to try to execute this trade. Does Detroit like it? They do. So Brendan Gallagher, you've been traded to the Detroit Red Wings, and I have a pick in the 1st round now. So we're gonna have to one guy's last name is Brain. I gotta know what his first name is. And that is a Finnish name taken by the Pittsburgh Penguins. I'm not even gonna try to pronounce it. So we got quite a few players to check out I want to check out the whole top 8 all the way to that Finnish player. We're gonna pick at 26. We did not originally have a 1st round draft pick because we traded it away, and there's still some value on the board here, actually. Believe it or not, there is some value. Now, what of that value? Should I sort this by projected? I honestly don't know what the best way to sort is. So Markku Hakin. We've scouted this guy. He's a left wing. He's 6'4", 222, so you can't go wrong on the size. But I do want to take a look at what is on the board for us before we actually go for one of these players. 6'5", 245. My goodness, that's a big player. Kurt Shepard, scouted 3 or more times, so we have a good idea of what he is. 6'6", 249. These players are huge, man. Smithson, not quite as big. 6'3", 201. What is he? I don't even know what nationality that is. Denmark. Okay. That didn't look like the Danish flag at first for some reason. Anyway, it says it right there in the upper part of the screen anyway. So yeah, I mean, we're in the late first round. You're probably not likely to get a whole lot of anything. Alvin Wall. Now we could look at goaltenders too, but I don't know that we scouted goaltenders very much. We did scout some goaltenders. But yeah, I mean, I think these are guys that are probably going to go in the second, third round. So I'm not really worried about picking a goaltender there. And plus, I just traded my second round draft pick. So to me, it's an easy decision. I'm just going to take the Finnish forward, Markku Hakin. Hopefully that works out for us. We're going to take a look at him when we get to the contract screen. And we'll take a look at the top 8 in the first round as well. We have no second round pick. And there's that trade that went through, just to review it for you, between Montreal and Detroit. I don't think you're going to find anything in the third round. I'm willing to trade my third round pick. I'm going to do my 6th, 7th, and 3rd round pick to get Boston's 2nd round pick. No, they didn't like it. Okay, well, that's fine. I'm just going to shut down the phones. At this point, honestly, just going to auto draft from this point onward, and I'll show you all the names that got taken through the 7 rounds of the draft. So 7 rounds gone. We take Pispinen with the final pick of the draft in round 7. Going backwards from that round, this is round 6. Furtak to the Canadiens, taken by the computer. No pick in the 5th round because we traded that. 4th round, we take Solis. 3rd round, we take Schremp. Love the last name there. 2nd round, we did not have a pick. And then, of course, there's round 1. We take the Finnish forward, Hakin. That was actually a manual draft pick, for lack of a better word. Oh, Su Kai Ming is an RFA. That's going to be very spicy indeed. He's going to need a big contract. I'm going to need every bit of the cap space to sign that player. Well, Duncan Keith being shopped by the Blackhawks, and Hamhuis to Dallas. I'll have to take a look at the offseason transactions. But let's take a look at all the draft picks. And we'll begin with our very own draft pick. Voivoda should grow over the course of the offseason, so he should be NHL ready. That's right, I got Damon Severson off of waivers and Sean Monahan off of waivers. I remember that simulation happened so long ago. Oh, Hakin's a decent pick. He's 72 overall at 19, 3.5 red stars. So there's my draft pick. That was a really a solid choice by me. If he can grow and he doesn't even have to become anything more than a third-line player, I'd be very satisfied with that with a late first-rounder. He's an excellent skater. He's got a good skating category, so all the other skills just got to be refined. So who else was taken in the draft? Well, Detroit takes Alexander Tursunbayev, the Russian playmaking right wing, 80 overall at 18 years old. 4.5 gold star potential. They add Brendan Gallagher to fill out their depth. They had a good offseason. This kid is NHL ready already, right now. And I'm going to have to take a look at, let's take a look at Detroit's entire lineup. Let's look at their skaters, rather. All skaters. They got Gus Nyquist, Brendan Smith, Ole. Was Ole the pronunciation? Hemsky. Okay, so Hemsky didn't retire. Remember, we had Hemsky for a spell there in the season 5 that we missed the playoffs for. Riley Shahan. So this is a decent team with really okay depth, especially on D. They got pretty good depth on D. Yeah, this team's pretty good. And then they got that Tursunbayev kid who is going to rock everybody's world when he fully grows into the player that he can become. And like I said, they add Gallagher to help that depth out. Detroit could be a problem, especially if they got it going on. Whoops, that's the wrong button press, especially if they got it going on in net. They got Jimmy Howard still, who's a pretty good goaltender, but he's 35 years old, so he's getting closer to retirement at this point. And they still got Peter Mrazek, and we know all about Peter Mrazek's growth potential and what he can pull off from the Calgary Flames GM mode. Sharks take Evan Backus, 20 years old, second overall pick in the draft. And just not a whole lot to say here. He is a defenseman, so defensemen are known to take a little while to fully grow. But he is 20 years old, and he's just 58 overall at 20 years old. 3.5 green star potential. I mean, maybe he becomes an NHL player, but I don't know about that one. Oh, and by the way, they drafted my created player that I made for the GM mode, goaltender Cale McClellan. So that's where Cale McClellan is, 2016 5th overall pick, just to remind you. Edmonton shores up the goaltender depth with Anthony Tuzzolino. Nice Italian name there for this goaltender. 20 years old, 4.5 gold star. This is a goalie made by the game. So this is a created goalie by the game. Is this a repeat of Shannon Danner? Is he going to be a problem down the line? Oops, excuse me. I didn't mean to press that button. Is he going to be a problem down the line in this GM mode? He's the 3rd overall pick in the draft. Jerome Beaulieu to the Anaheim Ducks, 4th overall pick in the draft. A power forward, left wing, 19 years old, 4.5. There's some good 4.5 gold star potential players in the top 5 in this draft. So it was hard to miss in this draft. And it was the Sharks, right? The Sharks missed with picking Backus. I think the Sharks missed on their pick. The Anaheim Ducks, the neighbor to the south for the San Jose Sharks, did not miss. The Blackhawks take Daryl Brain. I don't know why I'm laughing so hard, man. Daryl Brain goes to the Blackhawks, and it's all in the head, right? At least it is when you're a goaltender. 64 overall netminder from the USA. 6'3", 201, 20 years old, and just to show it there, 5th overall pick in the most recent 2019 draft. Robinson Franzen to the Calgary Flames, 20 years old. A lot of 19, 20-year-olds going in the early stages of this draft. He is the 6th overall pick of the Season 7 2019 draft. So there's the pick for the Flames. Stu Lysak to the New Jersey Devils. Another 20-year-old, 6'8", 230. Defensive defenseman, 4 gold star potential. So you can see the potential starting to fall away by, what is he, the 7th pick of the first round and 7th pick of the draft. Stu Lysak. Oh, man, they really did me dirty with this one. I don't even know if I can pronounce the name correctly. I know the first name. The first name is Timo. The last name, Pakolanvara? I don't know. I don't do well with Finnish last names, but he's a Finnish offensive-minded defenseman, 4 red star potential, taken at 8th overall in the draft. He's 63 overall as it stands right now in the offseason. So we got some staff abilities that need to be upgraded, and it isn't the medical staff. What does assistant coach do? Provides poor recommendations on what to do when faced by an injury. Well, let me just upgrade the AM staff, and let me upgrade. Oh, yeah, there you go. Wow, the coach upgrades are super cheap. Still prone to provide incorrect information. There you go. Who cares about scouting, right? Confirm purchases and exit. Oh, the bloody re-sign stage. Let's first begin by sorting by my best players, and I have decisions to make. Pacioretty is a player that I would like to sign. Now, I got $21.5 million in cap space as we enter June 25th, 2019 in the game. Pacioretty has been pretty legendary for this franchise. He's 30 years old, so he's got a lot of hockey still left in him. There's his attributes, but this is the stats. 63 points in 82. 38 goals, though, in the 17-18 year in which we missed the playoffs. But he's been a model of consistency for the team, especially when we talk postseason. So there's the playoff stats. 22 games played, he had 10 goals, 22 points, was point per game in the playoffs. He's just a big game performer for this team, and I don't know anything else when it comes to my first line left wing. So I got to bring back Pacioretty. We will go and negotiate. He wants 6 years, which is kind of tough, and he wants to eat a lot into my cap space. But I have that like 80% rule. I can definitely use that. I don't think he's going to budge on the term, and honestly, if we get to the last couple of years, so when Pacioretty turns, say, 34 years old, and he's got about like 2 years left on this deal, if he isn't performing or the team is not in a playoff position, you can easily move Pacioretty to another team and get something back for him. I don't want to lose Pacioretty for nothing, especially when I don't know who or what is going to hit the free agent market after we get through this re-sign phase. So Pacioretty, we're going to come down on that contract by like 80%. 5.5. So it says we can go down to like 5.6 or so. I'm going to try that. Now, is he going to like that? That'll save me a good little bit of money, though, by doing that. That'll save me some money if I get down to 5.610. So I'm willing to try this. 5.610, 6 years max Pacioretty. I got plenty of time for him to get back to me on this contract offer, and if he rejects it, we just come back to the table, we do a new offer, we up the dollar value for Pacioretty. Brad Marchand is a little bit of that's a tough one too. 3 years is very doable, and I don't even know what 80% of that value is, but 3 years I can absolutely bring Marchand back for 3 years. Yeah, it's down to like 5 million. We can go close to 5 million for Brad Marchand. I'm going to try that. 5.1 million, 3 years, Marchand. Let me know what you think about it. I do think that if he doesn't like this offer, I could probably get a decent second line player in free agency. I mean, he's been playing basically on my first line as an 86 overall. Marchand's a key piece of the team. He's a part of the cogs that makes the wheels turn on this team, and you need that kind of tenacity in the lineup. And like I said, just 31 years old. This contract would take him to 34, which is very close to retirement. And also, if we're not performing as a team, should be an easily tradable player and asset down the line. So this is the one that, whoa, that's a reasonable deal. Now, would he be willing to go 8 years? We're going to have to up the value. This is going to really eat into my salary cap, but I have got to get Su Kai-Ming locked up. He is the future first-line center for this team. At some point, we will move on from Duchesne as my first-line center. I'm almost spending in just 3 players already. I'm almost spending $15 million, but we got to sign Su Kai-Ming long-term, worth the money, worth that long-term commitment. Oh boy, Tamernis. Okay, Tamernis doesn't want a lot of money or a lot of term right now, and we can always revisit him in 3 years, and I'll be able to save some money with Tamernis. Oh wait, this is Su Kai-Ming. Wait, what? Okay, Rakshani. What do you want, Rakshani? That's a lot of money for a third line scoring forward. 2.1 million, 3 years, Rakshani. Think about it. I don't know if I want to commit to Rakshani. I think we can get decent depth for less money. You know what? I'm not going to offer Rakshani. So, Ellis, how much money does Ellis want? Please be cheap. Oh, 1 million. That's not bad for depth. You know, I like keeping Ellis as a depth option. I'm going to just keep Ellis. I'm going to give him an offer as a depth option on D. Greening, no. Bickle, you were awesome for this playoff run, unless it's just like a minor league deal. Yeah, no. Dumoulin, please be cheap, because I would love to have Dumoulin on a... Yes, Dumoulin, 1 more year. Bring him back. He was clutch for us in the conference final and the Stanley Cup final, or whenever I put him in. Weston, another depth option on D, so I can do those minor league deals. Simon Chalmerson, another good depth forward, but man... These guys want what if I give him a $1 million offer? 1 million even, 1 year, Simon Chalmerson, you're my 4th line forward. But if he doesn't budge on it, easily replaceable. Yeah, we'll do that. For Holland, your AHL depth. Oh, Budai and Elliott are free agents. Budai, well, we got Fucali down in the minors. And then we're going to have Budai. I guess you'll be in the minors along with Fucali. So that's an easy one. I'm not going to have a lot of money to play with to get a backup. I'm going to have to look at goaltenders and free agency to back up Carey Price. Remember, Price is still locked up to that long-term contract we signed him to. Lots of value there in Price. So we do have a lot of money locked up in Carey Price. Time to advance the day and see who's going to get back to me and what kind of cap space I got to work with after all of this. Well, that is no bueno from Brad Marchand. He has rejected my contract offer. I'm sure that that's not the only one. Let's see what we got to deal with here. Colin Fraser, okay, don't care about that. Budai, don't care about that. Yeah, and Pacioretty did not like, so the 80% rule did not work on these guys. I didn't even go to the full 80% on some of these. Ryan White, okay. Dale Weiss, okay. Natanen, okay. Su Kai Ming is the one that I'm waiting on. All of these guys got back to me. Easy decisions. Hacken, so the ELC to our draft pick, I gave him that. Su Kai Ming locked up for the long term, so that was just an easy one for him. Now, this is where it's going to get spicy. What to do with, well, you know, sort this by overall. What to do with my best free agents, Pacioretty and Marchand. So, this is irrelevant to the video, by the way, but I'm licking a delicious candy pop that's flavored like a latte. It's delicious. I don't know why people watching the video, if you've made it this far into the video, need to know that. So what did we offer Pacioretty? I know I went to 80%. I got to go back to what it was. It was like 5.5 million. Now, what if I go 5. Oh man, I got to pay Pacioretty. If there's one player you pay of the free agents that rejected, which is 2 of them, it was Pacioretty and Marchand. It's Pacioretty that you pay. And that means I'm going to go 5.775. I'm not going to short him as much as I shorted him in the previous contract offer, but we're going to keep the 6 years, which is what I offered him before. I offered him 6 years. I'm willing to do that term for a little bit less money. Now, Pacioretty, I got plenty of time to get all this sorted out, but please accept this offer. Marchand wants a little less money than Pacioretty does and less term. Now, I wonder if offering Marchand 1 more year, as in 4 years of term, and maybe offering him a little less money, would that appease him? But I don't know. I don't want to play too many games with these free agents. Now, didn't I go to like 5 million flat with Marchand? I think I'm going to have to go 5 points. Maybe close to 5.2. 5.210 by 3 years. Take it or leave it. I got to have Marshy back. I feel like Marchand is he's such a vital part and a key ingredient on all these playoff runs that we've been on. So advance the day. I'm glad we didn't pay Subban or Hedman more money than we paid them. I'm going to need every bit of the cap space that I have available to sign those 2 players, Pacioretty and Marchand, and then get free agents. Well, there you go. Marchand back. Oh, man, Pacioretty is playing hardball. Okay, so I got 10.4 million. How many days do I have left available first? Okay, of contract negotiations, I have a couple of days. I'm gonna assume, I don't know for certain, is 10.495 the actual cap space I have left available? I hope so, because I'm going to use quite a chunk of it to get Max Pacioretty re-signed. So he will not budge. I think it was, what was it, 5? It's going to be, oops, I didn't mean to do that. I think it's going to have to be a lot closer on the dollar value to 6 million than what I've offered him. I've shorted Pacioretty a little too much so far. So I'm going to try to go below 6, and we'll go 5.9 million. I'm going to go 5.900 million right there for 6 years, man. But he's well worth every penny right now. He is. I don't even want to think about how limited I'm going to be on cap space to move some pieces into our lineup in free agency. But I mean, this is there it is. It's done with Pacioretty. Now that does knock a little bit out of my cap space, but the key components of this team, I mean, look at that top 6 locked up, and you got Voivoda on the way. Now Eller is a problem. Well, it's an interesting one with Eller. And he's the third line center on this team when he could easily be the second line center, simply because playing in front of you, if you're Lars Eller, at center is Duchesne. You got LeBlanc playing on the wing, and you've got Sukai Ming is the true second line center of this team for the time being, soon to be the first line center at a future moment's notice, and locked up for the long term at 5.130 as well. I mean, we kind of shorted Sukai Ming. I think he could be paid a lot more money than that. But anyway, on with the show. So that must mean we're at the end of contracts negotiations. Kohlberg has gotten back to me. We're right ahead of free agency. Today is the beginning of the free agency phase. Yes, it is. Sean Monahan, accept my tendered qualifying offer. You are going to grow into something special, hopefully in the future. Leon Draisaitl, we couldn't let that guy go by the wayside. Now, if you look at RFA, so we're going to go into the free agent screen. If you go to RFA, Damon Severson, who I own right now, I own the rights to Damon Severson. He is an RFA, and another team could offer sheet Damon Severson. So what does he look? His asking price is that. I tendered, and he did not accept my tendered qualifying offer. I'm going to send him that offer just to make sure. I want to lock up Severson. I want him to sign a full-on. I want to own his rights. I don't know how to explain it. I don't want anybody to offer sheet Damon Severson, and then he accepts it. But yeah, you can see that there's not a whole lot to go after here in the restricted free agent screen. So who made free agency? Voinov, Spurgeon, Gudas. I got to look at what I need, but I think my core group of my team is still locked up, like all my depth. I mean, we have 5.535 to play with. I let Rakshani hit free agency. I'm thinking I can get a forward for less money than what he's asking for that is just as good as he is. So I just let him hit free agency. I mean, he won a Stanley Cup with us. You could be thankful for that. And I still need a backup goaltender, but the backup goaltender doesn't need to take a whole lot out of my cap space, because they're not going to play a whole ton of games. Honestly, I think we could go to Pavlik here, who's not asking for a lot of money. And I mean, you could back up Carey Price for one season. Now, the goaltender is not a big deal. I just need a serviceable backup while Price plays the bulk of the game. So that's one offer sent in. Now I need to observe the team needs. And by the way, my brain is not really running on its best fuel today. This is my first recording of the 2026 calendar year. So this is the first time I've sat down in 2026 to record an episode. So we know our top six is locked up. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, you're not in the top six. It's 5 with Ming. So that's 5 forwards right there in the top 6. Remember, we moved on from Gallagher, so we got to replace that player. And we moved on from Rakshani. So I need a top 6. I kind of need a top 6 forward now. I actually need somebody to play on the wing in the top 6. Because did we have... Well, your first line is going to be this. It's going to be Duchesne, Pacioretty, Marchand. Then you got Ming on the second line center with LeBlanc. But who would play? I guess Kamayev could play on the wing with those guys. I mean, you can put anyone on the wing. So we just need a decent forward to play somewhere on the second line with Ming and LeBlanc. Then we're going to need, and Vovoda should be ready. Where's Vovoda? Is he even down here? Vovoda, there he is. He's 72. Do you think he grows? Do we bank on that he grows and that he's going to be playing in the NHL next season? I certainly hope so. Because, I mean, if not, you know, Monahan could play on my fourth line, or you can have Holland. So here's what I need to do. I need to figure out what my lines are. And just bear with me for a minute while I figure this out. Unless you see Kamayev playing in the top 6, your third line's going to have Eller on it. So there's your third line center. I just need to count my forwards. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 with Frazier. Do we see him playing on the fourth line center position? I don't know about that one. So if I count, I counted 8, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4 with Marchand, 5, 6, 7. So 7. And then 8 with Hjalmarsson. I definitely like him being the fourth line. You know, he accepted, so he's going to be my fourth line wing. then it's a question of what we want to do after that. We have 8 forwards, so I still need another like 4 forwards, and I have $5.5 million to play with, and I just offered a goaltender a contract. Defense-wise, I know that we're good on D. I'm pretty sure. Subban Hedman, Tamernis Krug, Butler Ellis, Dumoulin. Yeah, we're good. We have 1 extra D, and we didn't spend a ton of money to create that depth. We spent all the money up front, as you're supposed to do. Yeah, so basically, I'm gonna guess I need like at least 3 forwards in free agency, and I need 1 really decent forward in that group. So this is where it gets interesting. It gets kind of complicated of what to do here. I mean, you're gonna have to spend some money on 1 forward at least. And man, am I willing to go? I don't like all of these guys are depth forwards right here. So Palmieri is a good one. He's looking for, an easy $1 million deal. Now, what I also like to do is look at the stats. So I like, for a depth forward, I like someone that can hit and skate and play D. Now, Palmieri does not exactly check many of those boxes, but he is cheaper. So let's look at Bertrand. Yeah, no. Brock Nelson kind of fits that list. He's a center power forward. He is a pretty decent skating category, decent physical, okay D. I think Lauri Korpikoski fits that bill. Good defender, good skater, decent physical category. He's asking for a bit more money though, and it's that 2.250 that I don't want to give to a guy that I'm probably going to be playing on my 3rd or 4th line. Scotty Upshaw? How much is he? He's 35 years old, though. That's a risk because he could drop off mid-season, and I don't like that. Patrick Eaves, good skater. And a decent, Patrick Eaves, but 35 again. Oh, I like Furland. Furland has a good physical category, and he's a decent skater. We could try Furland on the somewhere in the bottom 6. Let's try Furland. We can come down a little bit off the dollar value. 1.365 for 1 year, Furland. There's my first forward that I have sent an offer into. Yeah, we'll try this Ethan Werrick guy who's asking for a minor league value deal, basically. We'll go with that guy. Well, here's a guy that might play on the second line. You got a sniper in Teemu Pulkkinen, 82 overall. I can't let Detroit get a hold of this guy either. We got to give him the contract. I'm going to go 3 years. Try 3 years, a little more security, and I bumped up the dollar value for you. How do you reject? Now, slightly more money than I would like to pay a 3rd line player, but I really do, what is supposed to be a 3rd line player, but I'm going to see him as playing on that 2nd line and bumping up that value, that contract, that dollar value. Yeah, he's going to basically be playing on my 2nd line. All right, let's see. Eventually, somebody's going to get back to me. And we'll find out where we stand. Pavlik accepts. So we got our backup goaltender. Werrick, we got our depth forward. He can play wherever we need him to play. Damon Severson, he accepted my offer. He's my depth defenseman. Just if we need a call up from the A, he's one of the first guys on the list. Michael Furland rejected. Pulkkinen accepts. That's the big one. We got Pulkkinen, so I can always go back to Furland. And I don't have a lot of cap space to play with to get Furland, but that's fine. I got the big one that I wanted, and now I can go back and look around at players similar to Furland. So Furland wanted, I went down on the dollar value to Furland, and the main thing about Furland was the physical category. So if we can get a similar level player to play on the wing with a good physical category, okay, let's try this. He's a decent skater and he can score a little bit. He's got a decent, okay shooting category. We're going to try Rostislav Ole, the Czech forward, playmaking left wing. You're going to be getting in there instead of Furland. That'll save me a little bit of money as well. I just kind of got to save money where I can. The depth is not going to be necessarily outstanding for this season. We're just going to kind of have to get by. And Ole accepts my offer quite easily. Oh boy. 50 wins. That's what we got to do, boys. 50 wins this upcoming year. And now we can do the lovely scouting assignments. And all of the preseason nonsense out of the way. We are a few days shy of opening night, which will be on the road. I don't understand this. On the road in Buffalo. So back-to-back home and home with Buffalo to start the year. Will there be, I'm assuming in game there should be a banner raising at home against the Sabres. Why not the Leafs? We should open up at home against the Toronto Maple Leafs to raise that banner. But anyway, we will get into the regular season simulation in the next episode. This was actually a really nice and quick recording session for me, and it should be a relatively short video to edit and upload. Probably will be a very short video in length, and then we'll get into the bulk of simulating the regular season with our newly formed roster. I mean, the core pieces for this team did not change very much going into Season 7. There's a very good possibility that we can claim our 4th championship of the GM mode. That awaits to be seen throughout the next few episodes. We'll see you there.